if evolution is true, and if evolution is true, and if the Big Bang Theory is true, and there's no designer behind the design, and this is all a cosmic mistake, a cosmic accident, if this is all nothing but chance, then nothing does matter.
Nothing matters.
And there's no morality, and there's no right, and there's no wrong, and that means you can't blame Hitler. You can't blame now. What did they do wrong? It was survival of the fittest.
Right. Absolutely.
You couldn't, I'm sorry you couldn't defeat these men. I'm sorry you weren't stronger than them. But that's the way the food chain goes, my man.
Who are you to say that it's wrong?
That's right.
And where are you
where's that standard?
Where are you getting
when you say what Hitler did is wrong, really? Where is your standard? Where's the measuring stick that you say it's wrong? See here? Because this is right.
When a polar bear is popping down penguins like Pez, how is that wrong if that's nature?
Absolutely.
Right? Well, if Hitler or Mao or Castro or
is popping down
the white
man
when he came to America and started killing off the Native Americans, if he's stronger, he's got the guns. If there is no God, then why is any of that wrong? It's he who has the gold makes the rules.
Right. And then why does anybody owe anybody anything?
Right.
Why does anybody owe anybody justice?
Right.
You do away with justice. Listen, justice is an oxymoron.
It's a biblical concept.
Yeah, it's right. Here's what happens is atheists end up borrowing, scratch that, stealing morality from Christianity.
Right.
They don't want a God. They don't want the God behind it, but they want to use that morality. You listen, if I broke into an atheist's house tonight and I stole everything in his apartment, and he comes to me and he says, I'm suing you, or I'm sicking the police on you, whatever, I would say, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Right. I'm bigger than you.
You took my stuff. Who says I can't take your stuff? The law. Yeah. Who made the law? Men. What? I'm not subjected to men.
Right.
If I'm stronger, if I can get away with it.
It's like the whole John Lennon line, imagine no possessions.
While he's sitting up in the penthouse of the Dakota, committed, waited on hand and foot.
Committed sociologic, imagine that nobody owns everything, or anything. And I offered fantasizing, walking up to his house, you know what I mean? He opens the door and I just start taking stuff, taking his stereo, taking his guitars. Well, where are you going with that? Well, why should you want it? Yeah, this is mine.
I'm doing your song, brother. I'm trying to live the message.
You what you said made a lot of sense.
This is why Chapman killed him.
Yeah.
If you read Chapman's biography, he says basically in a nutshell, I killed this guy because he lied to me and he lied to my generation. He said, peace and love and joy and no possessions and every brother loving brother, nobody killing anybody. And yet this guy sat up in his penthouse smoking weed, and basically getting waited on hand and foot and could buy anything he wants. And here I am struggling, to make a living down at the 5 and dime.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so he was this guy so crazy after all? He just bought into the message. Yeah, of course he was nuts.
Right.
But he bought into the message. Now today Chapman's a Christian. That's another story. Oh yeah, you're going to get this, Yeah, this God of yours is so great. What a wonderful thing Christianity is. You can go around shooting people and then repent and all of a sudden you're saved. Hey, I'm glad God is that kind of God.
Right.
I'm glad God is the kind of God that can forgive Chapman.
Right, because we've all done something now. Maybe, I didn't pull the trigger, right? But how many times have I, cursed out the guy who cut me off on the highway?
You'd like to have killed him if it was legal.
So we've all done that. Jesus said, if you call the guy you fool, you've sinned against him.
Right.
So
it's the heart that matters.
Right, it's the heart that matters. So it's not just, it's not just the actual act of murder.
But this brings us
angry at somebody.
Right.
Everything. With Jesus, the rules are pretty intense.
Somebody might
what's the same.
Also make the argument that society basically shapes morality and make rules. But then I have another question in my mind. If that's true, let's say you have an island somewhere, right? And the society on that island is you have 12 people living there, and there's 11 men and 1 woman. So if the 11 guys get together and say listen, I submit that we repeatedly rape this woman, and torture her, for our own pleasure, do whatever we want with her. That's a society. If you go down into these jungles in the Amazon basin, All right, these guys are like killing people without even batting an eyelash, and to them, this is something society, within their own culture that they developed. So we as like quote unquote Westerners, then where do we get off sending missionaries down here, so to speak, telling these people, you shouldn't be living this way.
Right.
You shouldn't be killing people like this. So, on the larger scale, right, then there becomes absolutely no difference between Mother Teresa and like Adolf Hitler. Because who is to say, if I come and I bash your head in with a baseball bat and like just take your wallet and walk
I told
away,
you shouldn't be watching this.
which I might do after the show ends, because I'm a little short this week. But
my wallet.
I mean, where are we getting that from? Where, how can one person say to another person definitively, that's wrong, what you did is wrong?
Well, you bring up a great point in that these social mores or these social standards, I remember when I lived in Arizona, I went to see a bass player play at a certain club, and afterwards he went outside on a break, and I thought it was my chance to go outside. It was a small club, hardly anybody there. I'd go out and chat with this guy. So we went out and we talked shop, and I was talking about guitar playing and bass playing. And then we got around somehow, I don't know, because, Arizona is famous for crystals and New Age, and the topic came up about ethics and morality, and he asked me what I did for a living, and I told him I was a pastor, and that's probably how we got on it. And I remember him saying, that's cool, I respect that and everything, but I'm not really hip on the whole right and wrong thing. I think everybody has a right to do what they want as long as, they're not hurting anybody or whatever. To each his own, that kind of a moral relativism, what's right for you is cool, but it's not right for me. And I said, really? Let's take that to its logical conclusion. Even though he said, as long as you're not hurting anybody, that's subjective.
Right.
But it's also subjective. What's hurt? What to you, seems wrong or what seems like hurting someone, to me is a great pleasure and a great joy. It gives me great satisfaction. Right. So if I want to marry my daughter, or I want to marry this guy's 8-year-old daughter,
or his dog,
who are you to judge me? That's my own individual morality. I get to choose from. Well, no, that's crazy. See, now you're crossing a line.
What line?
Really? What line? Exactly. What line? Where does it end? We all know deep down inside there is an innate, built-in conscience. And we know when we cross that line. We instinctively know. I break into your house and take your TV, I did wrong. I know if I take your wife and woo her away from you, I did wrong. I know that if I have more than one wife, I'm doing wrong because I'm hurting one and hurting the other. I know that if we know.
Right.
Look, go ahead.
I just want to step back for 1 second because you talked about, they broke it down. You had Darwinism, then you had Nietzsche with God is dead, and once God was dead, something had to replace God. So it was either going to be power or sex, and we've seen both.
Yes.
We've seen the 20th century, more people killed in the 20th century than the 19 centuries before that combined.
Money is in there as well.
And then you see, right, the greed and Hugh Hefner, and what's his name,
the hustler guy in the wheelchair.
Right, Flint.
Yeah.
You see the filth.
Errol Flynn.
And Larry, I think. And the degradation of
Fred
women.
Flintstone.
Right, and the degradation of women, and women treated as objects instead of as people, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And this liberation thing where, is that really liberated to be, treated as an object?
Well, these atheists will say we're the ones that are really free. We're the ones that really live in life, unbounded, unchained, no restrictions. We're out here enjoying it, really. You ever talk to a real atheist? Every atheist I know, and I won't mention names, but this is just the truth. Every atheist I know is having a real hard go of it in their life. There's nothing to get up for.